What's shaking, sports card fans, and welcome back to this week's episode of Hot in the Hobby, presented by Hollywood Rips. Thanks for joining us. As always, I'm Mr. Hollywood. That's my boy Blue. Joe Nasty to my right. Actually wearing blue.
Yeah.
It's a quarterback fest, kind of, on this week's episode, and an appearance from the WNBA as well. So let's jump right into it for this week, shall we?
Yeah.
Hot card number one, Bryce Young, quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. His 2023 Prism Silver and rookie card in the PSA 10 is up 31.9% over the past 2 weeks to $135 a card. This was a $65 card a month ago, and a heck of a lot more than $135 at the start of the season, I can tell you that. After Bryce Young was benched earlier in the year, after probably the worst stretch of a few games I think any young quarterback has ever had.
It was rough.
I don't even think he's had a single game over 100 yards. Something crazy. But he has now gone 3 straight games without an interception. I mean, I was on an airplane all day, so I don't know what happened today.
He threw in today.
Okay, he threw one today. But hey, that's not a bad loss to the Eagles.
No, they had a chance to win that.
They had a shot. But so, as I was saying, they're 2-3 in their last 5 now, after falling to Philly at Philly. 2024, what are his stats? 1,381 yards. I think it's 7 touchdowns.
7 and 7.
7 interceptions. But his quarterback rating is 39, and he's completing 59.4% of his passes. He did throw for 263 and a tutty and a 3-point loss to the Chiefs. They were competitive against the Chiefs a few weeks ago.
Yep.
He threw for 298 and a touchdown and a 3-point loss to the Bucks. I get why this card is up a tick back to 135, but I don't know how else to tell you guys this. He's still in Carolina.
Yeah.
Like, he's in Carolina. His best offensive weapon is
Sir Purr, the mascot.
Chuba Hubbard, Xavier Legette. I mean, Xavier Legette is actually not bad.
Until he dropped the pass today.
Yeah, Adam Thielen, who's like freaking about to have to use like a Gandalf walking stick.
You're not feeling Thielen no more?
That was a ways back.
Yeah.
That was a ways back.
That was.
I ain't buying Bryce Young. I will say, good to see him kind of have a good few weeks here and kind of reestablish some of his card value. But Bryce Young ain't for me. Is Bryce Young for you?
You sound like a used car salesman. Is this Mitsubishi for you? Could be. What about this?
For the right price.
This was the Mercury Sable. Was that the car? Regardless, he is playing better. He's playing more efficient. And like, it's weird to say about a guy who went to Mater Dei, went to Alabama, then got drafted number 1 overall. But it's kind of nice to see the young man have a nice bounce back after facing a lot of adversity and a really tough. Because he seems like a lovely enough young man.
Seems like a great guy, actually.
Yeah, for sure. Look, ever since he got back in the field, he's playing better. And yes, you could also say it's Carolina, bad situation. But it wasn't just that. It was also, he was staring at double coverage and then going, I'm still going to throw right there. Mm-hmm. And that's not really the case right now. I saw a beautiful highlight today where he showed what made him so special, especially at Alabama. The escapability, field pressure, escape, roll, throw on the run. And he's kind of feeling himself again. Look, Andy Dalton was never really going to save Carolina. Hopefully that was just a really good reset for him. He's making plays. He's learning. It's on the upswing. Bryce Young is on the upswing. I feel confident saying that this is a nice period. Is it staying power? I really don't want to go on the line or go on the ledge here and say, yes, it has staying power, especially in a tough situation. Mm-hmm. But there's something to be said about a guy who essentially was at rock bottom of his career in year 2 and has bounced back in a good way. There's probably people who know the game better than I. Not many, but some that would know better what to do with Bryce Young. But I like what I'm seeing. And if maybe the trend continues next week. He played well against a hot Eagles team today.
Yeah, he did.
And so I think there's something to take from
Yeah,
that.
look, I didn't watch a second of that game. But I saw from the stat line, when you go into Philadelphia and lose by single digits.
Look, he didn't throw over 200 yards. Like, let's not get crazy and say he's like reinvented the wheel here of his career.
Yeah.
But compared to what was happening,
Yeah, no, this is a huge upheaval from where we were at
yeah,
like 10 weeks ago.
Right.
Because 10 weeks ago, this was real ugly. This was like...
it was a laughing
like,
stock.
Like, I felt bad for Bryce Young.
I did too.
And this is, at the very least, I don't feel bad for him anymore, and I'm glad he kind of got out of the doghouse, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But let's move to hot card number 2, and that is another quarterback, and that is Josh Allen. Of course, you know him as the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
His 2018 Donruss rated rookie card in a PSA 10 is up 18.5% over the past 2 weeks. It is $163 if you want that card today. Interestingly, for the season that he's having, this was a $125 to $130 card at the start of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So this is only up like $35 over the span of this season, and he is the front runner for MVP because so far this year, he has thrown, I'm going to ballpark this because I haven't updated the stats from today, but he has thrown for like almost 3,000 yards, 23 touchdowns, just five interceptions, with a quarterback rating over 100, completing 65+% of his passes. Today, Buffalo's 10-2. No, they're 11-2 now.
No, they lost.
Yes, they did lose. It was a crazy game, though.
Yeah.
Buffalo's 10-3.
Yeah.
Buffalo is 10-3. Josh Allen had a ludicrous game today. He threw for 342 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also rushed for 82 yards and 3 scores. Mm-hmm. I used to say that Josh Allen is basically Phillip Rivers reincarnated. Like Phillip Rivers 2.0 with more legs.
As I say, he moves much better.
Yeah, but
And 82 fewer kids.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's better than Phillip Rivers, obviously.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I stand by it. Because Josh Allen hasn't done a thing when it matters, for the most part.
No.
And guess what? He's going to have to go into Kansas City and beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs on the road if he is ever going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Most likely. So again, until that happens, I don't buy a thing on Josh Allen. Puts up huge regular season numbers almost every year, and then just falls apart. Maybe not falls apart, but he gets beat by someone who's better.
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes is having the worst year of his career, and the Chiefs are still better than the Bills. I know the Bills beat them, but it was at home. Everyone's saying MVP this year for Josh Allen. I get it. But Joe Burrow is far and beyond a better quarterback than Josh Allen. And I don't really think it's necessarily that close. Joe Burrow just has a historically horrific defense.
He does.
To deal with. But I think it'll be interesting to see, and I want to ask the viewers, I want to ask you guys this. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens when the Bills go to the Lions next weekend.
Yeah.
That'll be a good indicator of where this team kind of stacks up. But my opinion on why I'm not buying Josh Allen and why I'm not a huge fan of Josh Allen. What Bills wins are you really impressed by this year? They beat the Cardinals. Are we impressed?
Cards are solid.
No. They beat the Dolphins, the Jags. No. They lost to the Ravens and the Texans. Okay, not bad losses. No. They beat the Jets.
No.
The Titans.
No.
The Seahawks.
Kind of.
The Dolphins. No. Again. The Colts.
No.
They beat the Chiefs at home. That was their best win of the year.
Yeah.
And then they beat the Niners at home. And the Niners have half of their team in the emergency room right now.
And it was a blizzard.
And it was in a blizzard. Yeah, exactly. And they lost Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
They literally haven't beaten a good team this year aside from the Chiefs at home, they were at the Rams today. They lost.
They did.
They're going to the Lions, but then they finished the season with the Pats, the Jets, and then at the Pats again. This has to be one of the easiest schedules in football. I'm really not impressed with a single win outside of that home win over the Chiefs. I don't love Josh Allen. I just don't.
I've been very split on Josh Allen because it's like, how do you balance saying this guy's a ridiculous talent who has lifted a pretty putrid franchise, at least a team, the last 20 years or so. Think about the teams, think about those old Buffalo Bills teams. Remember the old holster uniforms like Drew Bledsoe and I don't even know who's between Bledsoe, like Tyrod Taylor. Those teams, nothing of note ever came out. The numbers, the stature, the gun, the running ability. He is you know what he is to me? He's a better throwing Cam Newton. The Phillip Rivers thing is interesting because you're talking about a guy who puts up numbers and hasn't really accomplished anything, so I get that. He would definitely win MVP right now. And today's performance, despite the loss, which don't get me wrong, was a catastrophic loss for the Bills. To have the tiebreaker on the Chiefs, who teeter on the edge every single game, including tonight against the Chargers, and then to lose against the Rams team that even with this logo on, I know this team is mediocre. Trust me. I can't believe they won that game in that fashion. And he's lifting up what I think is a lesser roster than the Bills have had in recent years, at least in terms of star power.
He is.
But as you said, has he accomplished anything of note? And so I always say this, especially in group chats. I think there needs to be whispers about Josh Allen. His greatest accomplishment is almost beating the Chiefs in that classic 13 seconds game where the Chiefs got it with 13 seconds left, tied the game, and then never gave the ball back to Josh Allen, who, don't get me wrong, if the overtime rules were halfway decent in NFL, would have also gone down and scored himself.
Probably.
But they didn't win that game.
No.
And that's his best moment. Those whispers are understandably quiet right now because he likely will win MVP. But it doesn't matter until January. Because after today's game, probably not going to host the game against the Chiefs. Probably not going to get the 1 seed. Mm-hmm. And they're going to have to earn it. I think he's really, 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 really good. I think he's a really intriguing guy.
Yeah.
Congratulations for getting engaged a couple weeks ago, Josh. Haley Steinfeld seems lovely. I love how she's a superstar that, doesn't need to be on camera as opposed to other people. And then, does that bring to mind anyone? And, but he hasn't done anything of note, other than unbelievable stats and highlights, which are fun.
But should he, and this seems like the most likely year for the Chiefs to possibly trip up, because Mahomes has not been good.
Their team as a whole, it's devil magic truly every week.
Every game is 5 points or less, and they win every week. It's crazy. But let's move.
Good coaching, good QB play.
Yeah, probably the best defensive coaching in the league.
Yes.
Let's move to hot card number 3 for the day. I think this is the third one, right? Yeah. Kobe White, point guard for the Chicago Bulls. His 2019 Prism Silver rookie card in PSA 10 is up 52% over the past week to $44 per card. This was a $25 card a week ago. What is Kobe White doing in 2024? He's averaging 18.3 points, 3.7 rebounds, 4.7 assists on 43% shooting and 37.6% from three-point range. So a solid year so far for Kobe White. Yeah. But am I missing something on this one? Up 52%? I get it. The guy's a solid NBA player, but the Bulls are 10-14. He's shooting 43% from the field. There's at least 2 players on this team that are better than him.
Sure.
Zach LaVine's better than him. Vucevic is better than him. And there's another guy who I think actually spreads the ball more and makes the team better out of the shooting guard spot, and that's Josh Giddey, which Josh Giddey, yikes.
Yeah. When he keeps away from people.
Keep him away. Keep him away from people.
From school zones.
Yeah. I'm not sure why this card needs to be $44. $25 seems a lot more reasonable to me, especially considering I don't really think the Bulls are going anywhere. They're to not even really be in the playoff picture in the East is saying something.
Sure.
So this one's kind of a random one to me.
Yeah.
And I'm out. but maybe you think different. I don't know.
Hey, let me hit you with a little something here. By the way, doesn't it kind of suck that the Bulls are like not really relevant?
It sucks.
Yeah. The logo is amazing. The uniforms are amazing.
Yeah,
That Jordan guy was really good.
Yeah. Have you seen that? What happens
Yeah,
when
it's like a lobster.
when you turn the Bulls logo upside down?
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it yet, look at the Bulls logo and then turn it upside down. It looks like a robot doing something naughty to a crab.
Yeah, that's right.
And you will never be able to unsee it.
Apart from that, it's still a great logo. Here's what you're missing. This is a guy that is, at the moment, putting up career highs in points per game, assists per game, all while getting a tick up in minutes per game. Yes.
That is incorrect.
Did it go down after he played today?
Kobe White averaged more points per game last year than he is this year. He averaged more assists last year than he is this year. And he averaged more rebounds last year than he is this year.
So when I researched this, that was right before his stats from today's game had updated. But as we went into the prep zone,
So everything you said is wrong, but continue.
he sucks. Look, but here's the thing about the Bulls. Your Chicago Bulls. Zach LaVine and Vucevic, I'm pretty sure, have been on the trading block every single day and on the rumor mill
100%.
for like the last 2 to 3 years. And any moment here, those guys very well could be traded. I could turn to my computer right now, and I wouldn't be shocked if Zach LaVine had just been traded, or Vooch.
No.
So, this is a guy who, up until like 9 hours ago, was averaging career highs.
Less.
Yeah, less.
I think like 4 hours ago.
And he's 24 years old, which for me is really weird to think, because I remember when he was at North Carolina. He seems like a fun guy. He's a fun character. I remember the video after he got drafted was in his press conference, and I forget which Carolina teammate just got drafted, and he's like reacting, and he's like, "Oh, that's so cool!" And like the guy, my friend, just got drafted. So I've been a fan for life. Fun hair. He's a guy who is playing well. Did just get banged up. He was doubtful for today's game, but did play. I knew that. So he's playing well. The percentages actually are not too indifferent from past years, but
Yeah.
he's making. I think he's getting more free throws this year, and maybe that's the change in his game that he needed.
Maybe. So you like Kobe White?
I like him. I think I'm with you in that maybe not the full $25. I think maybe there's a
44.
Well, I'm saying you said to get it back to what you find the
Yeah,
value.
25 is fine.
I think there's a happy medium, like maybe like 32.
Okay, fair enough. Side note before we get to our, fourth hot card of the week? We're not going to go into these ones, but I don't know if this is a coincidence, but guess who else was hot this week?
I can only imagine.
Victor Wembanyama cards.
No way.
They were hot. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander cards. They were hot. Jalen Hurts cards. They were hot. Is anything coming to mind about those three guys in recent memory pertaining to our shows?
Well, two of those guys are from a different country, but Jalen Hurts, I can't put my finger on it. Would you enlighten me?
If you guys watched our Cardboard Critics episode last week, our Invest cards of the week,
I did watch it.
I'm pretty sure all three of those guys were on our Invest cards of the week.
Oh my God.
And so either you guys are listening and actually buying those cards, which is pretty cool, or we were right. So
Shocker.
it's one or the other. But moving on to hot card number 4, and it is, I told you there was a WNBA appearance, and it is Angel Reese.
Oh boy.
Forward from the LSU Tigers and the Chicago Sky of the WNBA, her 2023 Bowman Chrome U first Bowman in a PSA 10 is up 100% over the past 2 weeks to $37 per card. This card got down to $18 a couple weeks ago, but had a high of 108 very early in the season. Let's see, Angel Reese, 2024 rookie year, she averaged 13.6 points, 13.1 rebounds,
Wow.
1.9 assists, 1.3 steals on 39% shooting.
Okay, double wow.
39% shooting. She's like the Dennis Rodman of the WNBA.
Big Ben Wallace even.
Right? We've talked about this before. I actually see Angel Reese attending events that are not her own games. Like, I see her more attending other sporting events and world events than her playing in her actual games. I've honestly never really been a fan of all of her antics. Let's just, why not? Let's just summarize her rookie year in a nutshell. Why not? Horrific team.
Yes.
They were horrid.
Were they?
Got their coach fired. And then she started a podcast
Yeah.
where she was gossiping about players in the WNBA. Like, please. This woman is straight up toxic. Also, maybe early candidate for ugliest looking shot in basketball history.
Well, 39% speaks.
I kind of put her, like, I don't know what's uglier, her shot or like Sean Marion.
But that went in.
Yeah, exactly. That one actually went in. Angel Reese's does not go in most of the time. Like, the only time she makes it is when it's a layup for the most part.
And yet you still shoot 39%.
yeah, exactly. That's saying something for like a big man, someone who plays in the
forward.
paint, a forward, right?
Yes.
To shoot 39.
Can't say a big lady.
Yeah, to shoot 39% from the field. I don't know the last time I remember seeing a more self-centered athlete at this age who realistically has accomplished nothing. Because I'm sorry, winning an NCAA championship in college, sure, that's a great achievement.
Yeah, very cool.
That's a very cool achievement. But in the grand scheme of things, does anyone really care? I went to an NCAA championship, Division I, when I was in college.
For women's basketball?
Not for women's basketball, right? I went to an NCAA championship game. I went to 3 Final Fours when I was in college, Division I.
Whatever.
Like, you don't see me doing what she's doing. Obviously, she's on TV.
Well,
I'm not.
You do have your own podcast.
I do have my
Well,
own
you do
podcast.
gossip.
That's
You do wear very revealing clothes.
Yeah, I do. I do wear revealing clothes.
So you two actually have a lot in common.
I can't stand Angel Reese, man.
Yeah. I'll let you have a lot of the commentary on this one. I do think she brings on a lot of the energy. She puts out a lot, and I think she sort of brings on a lot of what you speak. And her greatest strength is rebounding her own misses, as we said. Take that for what it's worth. But to be fair with the whole podcast thing, did you take a sip as I said that?
It's actually really true.
No,
Did
like-
you watch her highlight? The reason she gets 13 rebounds a game is because she misses so many layups.
No,
and then she just gets them back and tries again.
I wasn't joking. That's what she misses. She shoots 39% from 5 feet around the rim and then rebound. Like, obviously a great rebounder, an elite rebounder.
Yeah.
Then
This
she
would be
scores.
like if Wemby just like tossed the ball off the backboard to
Yeah,
himself.
just volleyballed it
He'd
back.
get like
back and forth.
50 rebounds a game.
Truly. I'll say this about the podcast, though. I mentioned last week the whole LiAngelo and Lonzo Ball thing. I saw it on Snapchat. It was on her show. She wasn't really adding anything interesting, but you know what? It's circulating. So whoever she hired,
Yeah.
call us. We would also like some good circulation.
But again, this is so like Caitlin, like Caitlin Clark.
that's the
She-
thing.
she-
It's the
she
yin
just-
and the yang, right?
She puts her head down. She's quiet. She works hard. She's the better player.
State Farm,
Landslide Rookie of the Year.
deservedly so.
For me, it's just. I don't think we need to talk about Angel Reese again on this show.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's just, I don't think she's someone. In my opinion, like I'm not really impressed with what she's doing. Not necessarily just on a basketball court, but I think she's actually damaging to a lot of people in terms of being a role model for younger girls or guys, for that matter.
Yeah.
But that will wrap things up for us on this week's episode of Hot in the Hobby. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed your time with us today. If you did, drop a like, comment, and subscribe down below to help us grow the channel. We are still on the road to 2,000 subscribers. I do not understand the YouTube algorithm at all, because I think we went from like 200 subscribers to like 1,800 subscribers in a span of like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it's just like stopped, and then it's just like, you know?
A lot of Angel Reese stands controlling the algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. So until tomorrow, we'll see you guys for the Cardboard Critics Invest segment tomorrow night. Mr. Hollywood, Joe Nasty, bye-bye.